Hi everybody, my name's Kassiah, my channel SiahSwag that you're watching right now. Thanks for tuning in. Today I am going to show you how to make the Plumeria shoulder bag by Bagstock Designs. And I love Bagstock patterns. I've done quite a few of them. They're pretty awesome. And this bag is certainly one of them. I didn't change much on it. I just changed the way the connector is. I put it up top instead of on the side, which you can do it either way, but I just prefer the top right there. Oh, and then I did a interior slip pocket on this side. That's not in the pattern. Super easy to do if you wanted a slip pocket. So it comes with that. It comes with a zipper pocket here. The front of the bag is what is super cool. So this front pocket, you've got card slots there. The top is like a slot for a phone. Those are your card slots. It's got a little change pocket there, and it's also up here a slip pocket. So super cool design on the front. I really love it. I was thinking you could also, if you really wanted to, you could go ahead and you could add a slip pocket or a zipper pocket on the back. I mean, lots of variations you could do, but this is it. Plumeria. Pretty cool. It's a pretty nice little bag. Hopefully this tutorial helps you guys figure it out. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. I would appreciate it. And let me know if you guys have any questions and I'll try and answer them. And enjoy the tutorial. Let's talk pieces that you need to have all prepped and ready for the bag. So there's quite a bit of prepping you can do before you start sewing this bag that will really make it go a lot quicker. So I'm not changing a lot. The only two things I'm changing are the way I'm doing the connectors for this shoulder strap, and I'm putting an extra slip pocket inside the bag just because why not? I always like more pockets, and it's a big bag on the inside and it has plenty of room. So I'm totally adding a slip pocket. So all I did for my connectors, instead of using the one that's in the pattern, which you can totally do that, feel free to do that. It's a cute little shape and you use cotton probably for it. I don't know if you could do it with vinyl, but and they sew it just on the actual panel piece down here. I just did a connector up top because it has a recessed zipper, so you won't have to worry about that. And then when it's all said and done, it's just on the sides up like that. And I kind of like the look of that better. I feel like it hangs nice, but you can do it either way. I did cut down my connectors are 2.5 by 2, 2.5 by 2, yes. And folded into the middle and then folded in half, sewn on here with my D-rings. So that's what I'm doing differently on that. So you need, for interfacing, I'm using vinyl for my accent pieces, and you can use either foam or Decaville Light. Either one would work great. So I'm using foam for this time around. I'd like to use Decaville Light next time to see which I prefer. I'm not sure yet, but I'm sure both would do a great job. So I do my side panels with that. My bottom, I have a layer of Decaville Heavy onto my vinyl, and it's cut about a 1/2 inch shorter than the edges out of my seam, and then I put foam on top of that. You could totally add 4 little purse feet to this pattern. It has it in the instructions on how to do that. You can totally do that. I'm not doing it for this. Let's see what other, so you have your strap. I'm doing my strap just a little bit longer because I want it to be adjustable. So I think I cut mine at about 40 or 42, just so you can have some adjustment. I'm using waterproof canvas for all of my inside pieces and some of my slip pockets, so you don't have to interface the waterproof canvas. And I'm using this stripe canvas material for the rest of my bag. And all I did for that was do a layer of Woven Fuse 2. I really love Woven Fuse 2. It gives it such a good feel. You could totally use SF101. Same thing. Not the same thing. Woven Fuse is better. But if you can't get Woven Fuse, do SF101. Here in the States, I know that's what it is. I'm not sure other places what it's called. And I'm doing my slip pocket. This is going to be my slip pocket for the inside. I just kind of like halved the pattern piece for the main body. I just kind of halved it where I wanted it to be, and I'm going to make that a slip pocket. And then you should have your main zipper and your 4 pieces for your main zipper there. And all your other pieces, inside pocket, my big slip pocket. This is in the additionally measure and cut instructions. They have a couple of pieces that you need to pay attention that you need to cut in those. This pocket is one of them. This is going to be your coin pocket and your card slot pocket on the front. And then I have my front zipper piece here. And then my 2 main body pieces, which I am using just this striped canvas, and I did put a layer of Woven Fuse 2, and then I put some foam on it. Again, you can do Decaville Light with the Woven Fuse. It would be great as well. All right, so let's get started on this fabulous bag. Okay, so first off, we're going to be doing the coin zipper pocket on it's going to be your outside pocket. It kind of confused me at first what I was doing and where I was putting it. This is the 13 by 13.25 additional cut piece that you should have cut. And this is going to have a zipper pocket on one side, and then you're putting your, like that, and then you're putting your card slot on this side, and it's folding up like that into your front pocket on your back, okay? So make sure you have your piece laid so it's 13 wide, and you're gonna place your zipper pocket, coin pocket piece up here, and we're gonna install that first. And I am just cutting a rectangle out here, or drawing a rectangle out. I do 1 inch shorter on each side. I do 1.25 down from the top. This is just how I do my pockets. You can do the measurements that they have on there too if you want. This is just my tried and true way that I mark my coin pockets. I got my center there. Got my center here, and it wants this top part of your rectangle to be 1.75 down from the top. So I am gonna follow that because that kind of makes a difference for how this pocket is put together. Because again, it's gonna be folded in half, so you want it up enough. All right, so that's 1.75 from the top. That's in the middle. That's good. So I'm going to pin that on there. Okay. Just like that. And we are going to sew around the rectangle. I usually put my stitch length down a little bit when I do these zipper pockets, so I have more control over the edges of it. Okay. So we have that, and we are going to cut that out. I'll show you. Okay, now we're going to cut that out down the middle here. Just like that, and you want to pull your pocket through. Now, if you're just using cotton, go take this to your iron and press, give it a good press. I'm not going to because I have this waterproof canvas. So I don't want to put heat on it. And it kind of creases down pretty nicely, just like that, okay? And then I want to put my zipper in it. And I put zipper tape, not zipper tape. I put, I'm using number 5 zipper tape on all my things, and I put double-sided tape on it. Make sure I got this going right here. So you want your pocket to open from left to right. So make sure you're installing it that way. Oh my goodness, sorry. I gotta get up and over this here. Okay, and I usually just do my bottom piece first with my tape so I have more control over where I'm putting it. And then I take off my top piece of tape. Maybe. There it is. Just like that, okay? And then we want to sew around that box. I increase my stitch length back to about a 4.5 to 5 to do this. Move the zipper out of the way. Got our zipper piece on there. I'm just going to make sure I've got my ends sealed. I'm using a 69 nylon bonded thread. Okay, and then close up your pocket. Nothing fancy about that, just sew along all the edges. I usually start at the bottom here and just go up and around. I have a little extra zipper sticking out on this side, so I'm just going to trim that down because I don't want that poking into anything. And I am going to just give that a little bit of fire there so it melts it. Okay, so that is my coin pocket all sewn up, okay? So next, just set that aside for a minute and we're gonna work on our card slot. That's gonna go on the other side of that. So I have already kind of done my card slot a little bit. So you mark out your back, okay, in the measurements that they give you on here. And you start folding. So if this was my top, this was my 7.25, you start folding towards yourself, the first one like that, right sides together. And then you take it and you fold it like that. It's just a fan fold, okay? When you're done, you're gonna have 3 pocket like things, okay? Pocket folds, okay? 1, 2, 3. And you're going to top stitch each of those, which I already did, okay? So that's where we're at with that. I top stitched them. So next, I'm going to baste my sides down. Oh, and make sure when you're done folding your card slots that they measure 4.75 wide or high, 4.75 high and 8.5 wide. Yeah, because then it'll match your back piece. So make sure your measurements, and if it's a little off, you can always work around that. It's not a huge deal. Don't freak out if you're like 1/4 of an inch off. It really isn't that big of a deal. All right, so I basted my edges down. And next we need to draw a line down the middle of our card slot to mark the middle where we're going to separate it, okay? So we're at 8.5, so we need 4.25 down the middle, which is right on that black. All right. I don't know if you can see it because it's right there. It's hard to see. So I'm going to sew down one side of that line, just right to the side of it, come down and go back up the other side. So I have 2 lines separating these card slots. It just gives it extra strength when you've got the 2 separate stitch lines. And I am gonna go over where the card slot is. Just, I back it up once and go over that just to give it extra strength for when you're pulling in and out your cards. And then come back up. Okay. Got my chalk line there. So there's my 2 lines right there, okay? So next we're going to get the card slot backing, okay? And we are going to pin it right sides together. You're going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance and sew around it, but you want to leave a hole on the bottom for it to be turned, okay? shoot. My thread broke. It gets stuck up here sometimes with this thread spool. I don't know what's going on. Every once in a while I get a spool of thread that likes to get like caught and doesn't want to unwind, and then it tightens everything up and messes it all up. All right, sorry about that. All right, so sewed around and I left an opening there. You want to trim your little edges down here, just the corners here. Trim those down so when you turn the whole thing, I'm gonna trim this whole top down actually, just so it turns nicer and it lays better. Definitely trim your corners up. Okay, let's go ahead and turn that right side out. Right, there we go. All right, just get that pressed out really good. All right, I'm gonna take this to my machine or my iron real quick and I'll press it and I'll be right back. Okay, once you get your card slot all pressed out and nice, and I turned under my edge that I turned it through and kind of gave that a good press too. So that is my finished card slot. I'm taking that pocket that we just finished the zipper pocket on, and I'm going on the other end, okay? So your zipper's on one end, your card slot's gonna be on the other end. And it needs to be 1.75 down again. And I kind of folded my center here so I can see where my center's at. So 1.75 down from the top, and that's where the top of your card slot is gonna go, okay? So first, I'm gonna go ahead and top stitch this part of my card slot that we're not gonna be sewing on. Okay, that gives it a nice clean finish at the top. All right, I'm gonna place this on here, find my center right there in between those two lines I sewed. That looks straight. You can take your ruler and kind of make sure you've got a, oh, no, a little crooked, see? About right there. Okay. And that's where it's gonna be. I'm just gonna put a couple pins on here so it doesn't shift, and you wanna stitch that down along the three sides, okay? And I am gonna go up and over this edge a little bit here, a couple times. And same with the bottom here. It may be a little excessive, but I'm a little paranoid of that coming undone. You can go back over those corners too and do a little diagonal stitch along the corners. I think that's what they have you do on the top pockets here. Totally do that. Okay. That is your front inside pocket on the bag. Card slot and zipper pocket, and we're going to have it folded up like that. It's pretty cool. So the top part's a slip pocket, and then you have your card slots. Okay, put that aside. We are going to work on the front pocket zipper. This one right here. And you should have some zipper tabs for your zipper. You trim it if you're doing the zipper tape like me. It's a 11 long. And then your zipper tabs here. And you're going to put one on each side. Just like this. You guys, I'm sorry if you can hear my family in the video. But as you all know, during this time, quarantine time, there is never a time to do it except late at night when you can't hear anybody and I can't concentrate that late at night. So if you hear a little extra noise, I apologize. Okay. Sew those on, 1/4 inch seam allowance. Both sides. I'm just sandwiching these zipper tabs, right? And mine are just vinyl. You can use cotton or whatever. I wanted the vinyl on mine. Okay. And then you're going to fold those back and you want to top stitch that down. So just like that. And then we're going to go like that. And we're going to top stitch right there. Okay. And then you'll probably have to trim them down just a little bit, your zipper tabs. That's what you should have. You don't have to do these back zipper tabs. You could only do just front ones because nobody ever looks at the inside of your zipper pocket. It's up to you. I don't always do back zipper tabs when I do bags like this, but I did this time. All right, so take your outside exterior zipper pocket bottom, right? I'm just clipping my center there real quick. Oh, let me trim down my little, just make them flush with the zipper here. All right, just like that. And then we're gonna put this, so you want your zipper pull to the left of your bag on this side, and you're going to want to center your zipper on there. It should be, if you cut your zipper at, look how perfect that fits, like it's the exact length. If you cut your zipper at 11 and did your zipper tabs at 1.5 with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, it should be the exact length. And if it's not, then just find your centers and go from there. No big deal. You have a little wiggle room. Sometimes I cut my zipper tabs a little bit longer just to make sure I have a little extra room. So you could do that too. Okay. So just baste this along there real quick just to keep that in place. And it's face down. Your pocket pieces or your outside exterior pocket pieces face up. And remember, you want your zipper to open from left to right. All right. So you want to get that pocket piece that we just worked on. Okay. Whoops, that's not it. This one's it. Want to get this pocket piece we just worked on. You want your zipper coin pocket to be at the top. Okay, and we're going to match that up. And we're going to sew that on. 1/4 inch seam allowance. Well, this says 3/8 seam allowance. If you can get it that close, do a 3/8 seam allowance. If you have a zipper foot, you probably can. I probably could too, actually. I'll try. All right. Move my zipper out of the way there. Okay. And then flip that over. And you're going to want to top stitch on the outside here along the bottom of your zipper. Flip your lining down. Okay. Your inside pocket piece down, I should say. Out of the way. You can, again, you can iron if you want to iron. I'm just going to pull. All right. And then, so this is what that looks like, okay? There's your front, there's your back. You're gonna take this and put it on the top part of my zipper, okay? You're gonna flip it up to the top part, right there, okay? And you're gonna wanna baste that in place. Just on the top part. Baste that down. Basted that down. See, now your front pocket, look at this. You got your card slots and you got your zipper. Pretty cool, huh? All right, so now you want to take that top accent piece. Mine's this red piece. You're gonna want to lay it down on top just like this. Okay, clip that on. And then sew that down as close as you can get to the zipper, 3/8, 1/4. Is that my middle? Just a minute. Let me make sure I'm getting my middle with my... I'm gonna clip my center real quick, just to make extra sure. Here. There we go. All right, sew that down. All right, and then you're going to want to flip that up and top stitch it. Okay. Flip it up, top stitch it on top. That is our front pocket piece. Super awesome, just like that, okay? So next, you want your exterior slip pocket lining panel piece, okay? It should look like this. Mine's canvas. And we are going to put a snap on it because this and this, oh wait, this is gonna be like this. And then you're gonna have your back piece right here, and it's gonna be a slip pocket, okay? Okay, I have my slip pocket piece. I'm gonna wanna put the snap 1.25, I've got my center, you can see my center right here, I folded it in half. 1.25 down from the top, okay? Right there. And you're gonna wanna put your male snap piece on this pocket, okay? Just use my washer for measurement there. So I've got my male piece, the one that has the little thing sticking out on it, hence the male piece. And I'm going to use a piece of just like a Pellon. You can use foam, you can use Decaville, whatever, to protect my material from the prongs, okay? Maybe. There we go. And then put your washer on top of that. All right. Just like that, guys, okay? And then go ahead and we are going to get our outside front panel piece. This one. Main exterior panel. And you are going to, I'm going to do it a couple different ways. So I'm going to clip my centers on it real quick so I know where my middle is, okay? losing all my scissors. There. There. It says 7.5 up from the bottom. So I will mark that first, but then I will put my other piece on and make sure it's in the right spot. Okay. So right here is my 7.5. I'm also going to go like this and see if that's about right. It needs to be, I think, a little bit lower, actually. Just a tiny bit lower. So just kind of make sure you do that so your snaps line up when you're putting them on, okay? All right, and then go ahead and install that one on that piece. And this one already has foam, so you don't really have to put an extra piece on it. Okay. You got your 2 snaps on. You're going to finish this pocket now. So you're going to take your exterior pocket piece and your slip pocket. You just put that on, right sides together, match them up at the top, and you're going to just sew along the top here, and then we're flipping it over because we're creating a slip pocket now. Okay. And it's a 1/4 inch seam allowance along this top piece. All right, and then you're gonna flip it over. So that's what we have, okay? You're gonna flip it over and press that all out, and you're gonna top stitch. So it makes a nice slip pocket. Look at that. Such a cool construction to this bag. I like it a lot. Great pattern idea. Just kind of pressing the seam up with my finger underneath and then clipping it in place. Kind of helps, especially when you have non-ironable material like I do. Okay. So go ahead and top stitch that down. Trimming down my little dog ears there. All right. There's our front slip pocket. All right, so now we're going to put it onto, sorry, there we go. Now we're gonna put it onto that other piece that we did. Snap it on, line it up everywhere, and then sew along the 3 raw edges, okay? I'm kind of clipping mine into place just a little. So it doesn't shift too much when I'm sewing it. Okay, and you can sew that or baste that down at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm just going to trim this down just a little bit here. And you'll have little parts sticking out from your pocket there. I'm just going to trim them down. Awesome. Just like that. So you got your big old slip pocket there. You got your zipper pocket here, and that is your front panel. Next on the pattern, it has you do the connectors. So if you're doing them the way the pattern asked you to, go ahead and do that. Oh, you know what? I'm going to install my nameplate and then we'll continue with the next step. Okay, guys. So next it has you working on the inside of the bag. Again, I said I'm doing a slip pocket inside along with the zipper pocket this time. I could have just cut one piece of canvas and put it here, but I chose to do the contrast of this striped material. So I'll just tell you, my slip pocket is, I did it at 8.5 high. So if you're wanting to do a slip pocket, that's about where I measured mine at. And I'm just going to sew the top together here. Super simple to add a slip pocket. I don't know why you wouldn't. Okay, and then right sides together there. Top stitch that. And I'm going to separate mine into 2 separate pockets. You could even do, dang, you could even do 3 because this is 13 wide. You could totally do 3 pockets too if you wanted to. Let's see. Yeah, but I'm just going to do 2. So whatever you want to do, that's just what I am doing. So it's 13 wide, so I'm doing it at 6.5. Okay, mark my line down the middle. And then I'm just going to place it on top of my lining. Clip it into place so it doesn't move. All right, and I'm going to sew along the raw edges. I'm going to sew up and over and back down to separate my pockets just like we did on the card slots. kind of big deep pockets. I think that'll be nice. Okay, those are my slip pockets. I'm going to go ahead and fold this in half and clip my centers. It'll just help with when we're putting the bag all together. You kind of want to do it on all of your pieces probably. All right, so set that aside. And then we're going to do the zipper pocket on the other side. Do mine too long. All right, so go ahead and mark that out. I think I added an inch in width to this zipper pocket. So it's pretty big. I also want to be able to have a good hole to pull my bag through at the end because we're just pulling it through the pocket. It's a nice big pocket for it. All right, mark the center of your lining, and you want this 2.25 down, or 1.25 from this. So we'll just do that, 1.25 down from this, okay? All right. Another thing I do when I know I'm going to be sewing up the bottom of my pocket later is I go ahead and I just iron up the bottom edge where I'm going to sew it later. It just saves a step and it makes it easier when you're putting it all together in the end. So I already did that part. All right. Put your pocket on. That's what we got, and I'm going to sew around that rectangle. Okay, cut the center of that open. Pull it on through. I'm going to go very carefully press this one because it's a little bit bigger. Okay, I went ahead, I pressed it, I added the zipper just like we did with the coin pocket on the front, right? And now I'm going to put our other piece on top of that, And I'm just sewing along the 3 edges here and leaving the bottom open because that's where we're going to turn our bag through. And it is a nice big opening, so I don't feel like I need to. You could leave an opening in your lining if you really wanted to, if you don't want to pull through the zipper pocket. I rarely pull through zipper pockets, but this one's big. And I didn't struggle at all pulling through the zipper pocket before. Okay. That's our other panel piece. So, because I ironed that before, it's pretty awesome how nice it just automatically lays open like that. I just fold down where I just joined it at the seams there. And then it's already ready for me to sew it closed after I pull it through, okay? So that is our other zipper pocket. So next we're gonna work on the top zipper to close the bag. So it has you fold down. This is how I do it. I'll show you with another piece of a zipper. I mark the same distance down on whatever zipper I'm using. And at that mark, I pinch it and pull it down. Just like that, okay? And then you're going to want to sew just right there to keep it pulled down. And you're gonna wanna make sure you do it evenly. That's why I said I mark it first. I mark that line so I know I'm pulling it down at the same line. So it's even when you zip it up. So go ahead and do that to your zipper and then close the other side. If you don't have your zipper stop on yet, go ahead and just sew over it to make sure it's closed. Don't forget to put your pull on. I do my little panels a little different than what is in this pattern. So I am gonna go ahead and fold down my edges 1/4 of an inch on all my pieces. So I left this one undone so I could show you. So I just put some 1/4 inch wide zipper tape there, and I'm pretty much just folding it down the same width as that tape, right? On all 4 of my pieces, I did that. So on these, just make sure that you do it evenly on all 4, right? So lay them all out and make sure they're all even. Yep, looks good. Just that way I don't have to worry about sewing that down. It's already done. You can do it like the pattern says, or you can do it like this. I will show you. Okay, so take your first piece. You're gonna want your zipper face down, zipper pull to the left, and I start it just about, how much is that? They say 3/8, but I don't do 3/8 because I already have my raw edge down, and all I'm doing is going to be top stitching it closed. So I do it about 1/4 of an inch, about the same distance that I've folded it. I'll show you. Sometimes I'm not great at words. About right there. So about where that edge is folded down is where I start mine. Okay. You can go ahead and unzip your zipper all the way just to get it out of your way, but you're going to be sandwiching that zipper, you want your outside piece on top because that's going to be what's showing, and then your liner piece sandwiched there. So your right sides are together, and you want to just clip that all in place, and we're going to stitch that. I'm going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance on that all the way down. I always cut my zipper just a little bit longer just to give me a little extra wiggle room. And my panels are the same exact length. All right. Oh, I ran out of bobbin. Time to change it up. I got another one all ready to go here. All right. Check your bobbin. If you started with a full one, it's probably about done. All right. Now you're going to pull those both back. Wrong sides facing each other. Okay, there's the top part of my zipper. And I am going to, since I already sealed off my raw edges there, I'm just going to top stitch that and come down and along the other edge. Just kind of pulling it. There we go. Oops. Don't forget to lengthen your stitch. See how I did that? I just closed it up and did, so do the exact same thing on the other part of your zipper. I'm just going to top stitch that down so it doesn't move. So I don't want this one to move because I've got it in just the right spot. I'm always paranoid I'm doing it wrong when I do the second half, so I always just double check. Yep, I got that right. All right. Okay, put that one on. Fold it back and then do your top stitch. All right, so that is your top zipper closure. And go ahead, zip it up, make sure it looks like it lines up pretty well. I think it does. I'm gonna go ahead and fold that in half and clip my centers for putting it all together. It just helps. All right, and that is your zipper closure. Okay, so get your panel lining. I'm doing the one with the zipper pocket. Go ahead and put it face up. You're gonna get your panel. You want your exterior fabric showing. You've got your centers clipped, and you're gonna clip it to the top edge. And it's got a little rounded edge there, so go around that curve. Okay, and then you're going to sew that at a 1/4 inch seam allowance along there. And then you're going to do the same for the other interior lining. All right. So it is kind of curvy because you got a little wave there, right? All right. So do the same thing to your other lining piece. Okay, same thing. All right. Awesome. There's your lining with the zipper, all done. So set that aside and we're going to sew together the gussets real quick for your outside and your inside pieces, okay? So bottom of your gusset to the one side of your panel here. And it wants you to do a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Make sure I'm doing the right measurement. I forget what all my marks are on here sometimes. Okay. Do your 1/2 inch seam allowance mark here. Okay, same thing. Oh, well, let's go ahead and I'm going to top stitch. So I sewed that together and it wants you to top stitch. The seam needs to be folded towards the bottom panel and you're going to top stitch right along this bottom panel, okay? I think it just gives it a little extra support for your bag. And it makes it look pretty. Just like that. So do the other side, same thing. Fold it down. Okay, now do the same thing to, and I'm going to actually, while I have it here, I'm going to clip the centers of that bottom. Clip your bottom. It's just the tiniest little snip, guys. It doesn't have to be anything big. So you can find it when you're putting it all together. Okay, now do the same exact thing with your lining gusset, okay? All right, and then top stitch that too, same way you did your outside pieces. We're in the home stretch. Okay. And I already clipped the centers of my gusset pieces. Okay. Let's put it all together. All right, here we go. We need to attach the gussets to our main panel pieces. All right, so this is where your center marks come into play, which I don't think I did on this. Did I do it up there? I did. I thought I did it on the bottom. Oh, there it is. Okay, yes, I did do it on this. Okay, so on your outside gusset, I went ahead, I don't know if you can see, I did little snips. Oh, there you go. I just did the tiniest little snips around where it's gonna curve, which is pretty much from your bottom panel and up about, I don't know, I think I clipped up about 4 inches. Just little tiny snips along there, okay? It's gonna help it go into that curve a little bit nicer, okay? So start at the bottom down here, line up your centers, give that a couple clips. Okay, and then go up to your top pieces and line those up here and clip down. And I'll go along this edge. I do the same thing. All right, and then you're gonna work those curves in, okay? So it's nice having those clips there because it kind of just, if you press it down, trying to show you there, if you press it down, it kind of naturally curves out, okay? So just clip that on. And this pattern lines up pretty dang well. You don't have to do any magic, really. Like you do on something. Okay, let's see. Lines up pretty well. I'm gonna go on the other side, do the same thing. Slowly, you don't have to go fast. You're going to sew that down at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay. Try to flatten it out as best you can so you don't get any puckers. You don't want any puckers in there. It happens, but try your best. Now, when I do my lining, I'm not as careful about the puckers because the lining is a little bit trickier. And the lining, nobody's really looking at as much. So, because you are going to have a little extra when you do your lining because you're giving a bigger seam allowance. And you just have extra. And it's hard to get it to fit in there as nice. So don't stress when you do your lining. Unless somebody knows something I don't know. All right, look inside, looks pretty good. Yep. All right, so trim that down. It's gonna be kind of hard, but you can do it. To about a 1/4 inch seam allowance there. Somebody who watches my channel, I forget who it was, said they get nervous when I'm cutting down my bags like this. They get nervous for me, and I agree. I get nervous for myself too that I'm going to actually cut the seam. If I do it, I'm not telling you. Just be careful and go slow. You should be fine. Ugh. It's a lot of layers right here. All right. First side. Go ahead and repeat this other side, which I need to clip my centers on this one. Whoops. All right, do the same thing. Find your centers. There's nothing exciting about this. It takes time. You just have to just be patient. other side. We're just about there. All right. Go ahead and sew this on. Same thing. Reach your hand in there if you've got some places that need a little help flattening out. That's the nice thing about being able to put your hand in there. And just work it along. Just try not to have any wrinkles. Give that a look, make sure everything looks okay. Yep, go ahead and trim that one down too, and then we'll move on to the lining. We're doing the same exact thing for the lining. I'll probably just clip one and then go on. I don't know if I'll show you all of it. It's pretty much the same thing. All right, let's turn that right side and see what we got. Good. All our corners there. Push them all out. that's what we have, guys. Looks good. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing with the lining. Okay, so just unzip your lining here. One piece out of the way as best you can, and I already clipped all my centers, okay? Now with this one, you're gonna start at the top as the same seam allowance. So you're gonna start at half up here, and then you're going to widen it as you go down just so it fits nicely into your bag, okay? That's why this lining gets a little bit tricky and can be wrinkly. It's hard to get it to fit exactly because of that. And when you're doing your top, when you're doing your gusset up here, be sure when you sew it together that you're not catching this in it. You don't want to catch any of your recessed zipper into your gusset, okay? So make sure you're pulling that out of the way when you're sewing it all together. Make sure you have your pocket pulled out of the way too when you're sewing it up. Go ahead if you want, you can clip your lining like we did the outside gusset piece, just around that curve. It just helps it go into place a little bit better. Okay. Other side, I'm just going to clip it real quick. I'm doing the smallest little snips. It's nothing big. Okay. All right, that's what you should have. We're gonna go ahead and sew both those sides up. Remember to widen your seam allowance down here along the bottom where I'm not leaving any openings in my gusset lining because I'm pulling through my pocket, okay? So go ahead and let's sew those together. Okay, we have our lining all attached to the gusset. We have the outside of our bag. We are going to place this inside our lining. You want the right side out. And I am gonna do I'm gonna do it this way. Oh wait, which way's my front? This way. You wanna make sure so your back zipper pocket or your zipper pocket on your lining is going to be on the back side of your outside of your exterior, okay? Just like that. Kind of smush that in there a little bit because the lining should be just a little bit smaller. And then you're going to just start clipping the top edge all together. And I usually start at my sides because usually that lines up pretty well. Okay, so start matching those up. Just like that. And then other side. Make sure your zipper closure is out of the way. You don't want to get your zipper caught while you're sewing up the top. Okay. Oh, you might want to make sure too that this zipper is open to your pocket. Mine is not. So go ahead and open your lining zipper pocket because that's where we're pulling it through, okay? All right. I have my centers clipped here so I can line those up. And then just clip around that curve as best you can. Okay, and then we're gonna sew it together at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And then you're gonna trim that seam allowance down before we pull it through. Okay. Go ahead and start sewing that. This is what it should look like, all clipped together, okay? Here we go. I don't know if it matters where you start, just find a starting point. I'm gonna move this, see if I can move it over. Hi guys. That a little better? You can kind of see my machine. Oh, there you go. I don't know if there's any good angle there. Maybe right there. I'm probably going to come back and sew back over those connectors. All right. I am going to just stitch over this connector a little bit away from the line I just made, just to give it a little extra support on both ends. My bobbin's almost out again. It's all caught in there. Shoot. All right. So we are going to trim this all down. I'm gonna put you back over. Okay, let's trim this down. I'm not going to trim where the connectors are because I don't want to weaken that. And I'm going to put a rivet in here too when it's turned. All right, here's the true test, guys. Let's turn it. Whew. All right, here we go. Reach through your pocket. Good. Oh boy. Let's just tuck that in and see what we got. Lining's nice and snug. Just gonna put my pocket in for a minute. Hey, look at that. Looks good. So, last couple steps we need to do. You need to sew up that pocket. So let's do that first, actually. Let's sew up this pocket. Okay, and you should be easy to just fold it down. It should already kind of be folded down. And sew that right up. All right. sew that up. I think my bobbin's almost out. It might run out on me. I'm gonna check it before I top stitch here. All right, so sew that pocket up. Okay, and then we just have to do our top stitch on the top, and I'm going to show you the one thing you need to know about doing that. All right, pocket's all sewn up. Stick that on in there. Okay, so for this, instead of, you're not top stitching just like that, you have to fold down this recess zipper and you are top stitching through this so it stays down. Okay, so push all your material down. To give it a nice good line there. Okay, now you're going to fold this down and clip it. And that's how we're going to top stitch this bag. Clip it. So I'm kind of pushing down my exterior and my lining before I fold my top zipper panel down. Okay, that's what I'm doing. And then we're going to sew, and it's going to sew that down, okay? I'm going to go ahead and just clip this down along both sides. All right, we got them all clipped down. It looks good. Okay, trust me, that's the way you want it. Because then it'll zip nice like that, okay? And it'll be already nestled down in there. And that's what we want, okay? I am going to check my bobbin real quick. Oh yeah, I got plenty. Okay. Make sure you have enough bobbin for this. You don't want to run out on your top stitching. Make sure you're at the right length, all that kind of good stuff. And I'm going to move this camera so it's at a better angle. All right, let's try that. Here we go. So, I don't know where to start here. I don't want to start on the front. I'm going to start back here on the back. Right here in the corner. And I like to top stitch with my bag out like this so I can see what it's looking like. Okay, make sure everything's set. Go ahead and do that. All right, and just go around slow, nice and slow. If you have vinyl, make sure your foot's not gonna tear any of that. I gotta be careful around my edges here because of my walking foot. Make sure your zipper doesn't sneak up there and get caught. Almost there. I'm going to clip these threads real quick just so they don't get caught when I'm sewing. All right. Almost there. Okay. Then all right, I'm going to move you one more time here. Okay guys, it's all done. Do you see the top? Looks good. Good job. That is the Plumeria bag. All that's left that I'm going to do is I'm going to put rivets, one right here and one right here. And then I'll make my strap. I'm just doing, it's 4 inches by like 40. I'm taking it like that. I'm going like that, sewing it down. I'll put a slider on it just to make it a little bit adjustable. I don't think it's long enough for a crossbody. You can totally do that. I did that on my last one and it works great. And then that's it. That's your bag. I hope this tutorial helped you guys. I love Bagstock patterns, obviously. I've done so many of these. They're seriously my favorite. They go together so nicely. Let me know if you guys have any comments, any questions, and I will try and answer them all. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will try to keep bringing you some good content. Feel free to suggest anything that you're wanting to see. I try to take those into consideration whenever I prepare to make the next video. And that's it. I hope you guys are all hanging in there. And till next time, bye.